The distress call. Captain Vexthor of the Galactic Council rescue vessel Harmony's voice had seen many strange things in his 30 years of service. But nothing prepared him for the human distress signal that appeared on his scanners deep in the Forbidden Sector. Impossible, his navigator whispered. No species can survive in that region. The radiation alone would kill any known life form within hours. Yet there it was, a weak signal, unmistakably human in origin, pulsing from a derelict spacecraft floating near a dying star. The message was simple: Engineer Marcus Webb. Alive. Need assistance. The Galactic Council had strict protocols about humans. They were classified as a Level 3 civilization, primitive, emotional, and dangerously unpredictable. Most species avoided them. But Council law was clear: distress calls must be answered. Set course, Vexthor ordered, his 4 eyes narrowing. But keep shields at maximum. Humans are known for their creativity. The impossible survivor. When they arrived, the sight shocked even Vexthor's experienced crew. The human vessel was ancient, maybe 50 Earth years old, ancient by any standard. Its hull was torn open in 3 places. Life support should have been dead. Radiation levels were lethal. Yet the scanners confirmed it, one human life sign, strong and steady. How is he alive? The medical officer gasped. Those radiation levels would kill a Corinthian in minutes, and they're the most resistant species we know. Vexthor studied the wreckage carefully. Then he saw it, crude modifications all over the hull. Salvaged panels from at least 6 different ship types. Makeshift radiation shields constructed from what looked like cargo containers. And strangest of all, a power generator that seemed to be running on a fuel mixture that shouldn't exist. The human, adapted, Vexthor said slowly. He modified his ship to survive. They extended a docking tube, and what emerged shocked them even more. Marcus Webb was a man in his 60s, gray-haired, wearing a patched pressure suit held together with what appeared to be adhesive tape and wire. He carried a battered toolbox in one hand. Thank God, Marcus said, his voice hoarse. I've been drifting for 4 months. Thought I'd die out here. 4 months. In lethal radiation. With a destroyed ship. And he had survived. The story unfolds. In the medical bay, the doctor examined Marcus with increasing disbelief. Your cellular damage should be catastrophic. You should be dead 10 times over. Marcus shrugged, wincing as the doctor treated his wounds. Humans are stubborn. Plus, I'm an engineer. I solved problems. Solved problems? Vexthor leaned forward. Tell me, human. How did you survive? Marcus smiled tiredly. Well, when the asteroid hit us, it took out life support first. So I rerouted power from the weapons systems, we didn't need those anyway. Then radiation started leaking in, so I used the cargo bay walls as shields. Took me a week to move them into place. A week? The medical officer's translator struggled with the concept. You worked in lethal radiation for a week? Had to, Marcus said simply. The alternative was dying. Then food ran low, so I started rationing. 1 meal every 2 days. Recycled water through the coolant system, wasn't pretty, but it worked. When the main generator failed, I rebuilt it using parts from 3 different backup systems. Shouldn't have worked according to any manual, but I made it work. The crew exchanged glances. This was impossible. No species could do what this human described. It violated every principle of survival they knew. The question. But why? Vexthor asked. Why fight so hard? You were alone, damaged, in the most hostile region of space. Why not simply accept fate? Marcus looked at him like he'd asked why water was wet. Because giving up isn't an option. I'm an engineer. We don't quit when things break, we fix them. And I had a reason to survive. He pulled a small device from his pocket, a human photograph. It showed Marcus with a young woman and a small child. My daughter just got into engineering school. And my grandson, he's only 3. I promised them I'd come home. Dexthor felt something stir in his chest. His species didn't understand human emotion well, but this he understood. The human hadn't survived through superior technology or natural resistance. He'd survived through sheer refusal to quit. The test. We'll take you to the nearest human colony, Dexthor said. But I'm curious. Your repairs, they shouldn't work. The generator, the shields, the life support. According to every known law of engineering, your ship should have failed. Marcus grinned, a spark of pride in his tired eyes. That's the thing about humans, Captain. We don't always follow the rules. Sometimes we make our own. He stood, despite the doctor's protests, and gestured to his toolbox. Want me to show you? I noticed your starboard thruster has a misalignment. Been making a weird noise since you picked me up. I could fix it. The chief engineer's scales flushed with embarrassment. You heard that? We've had 3 specialists look at it. They say it's within acceptable parameters. Acceptable isn't optimal, Marcus said. Give me 20 minutes. Dexthor was skeptical, but he nodded. He wanted to see what humans could really do. The demonstration. 18 minutes later, Marcus emerged from the engine room, grease-stained and grinning. Try it now. The chief engineer activated the thruster. His eyes went wide. It's perfect. The efficiency increased by 12%. How did you? Humans have a saying, Marcus interrupted. If it's stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. Your thruster was designed perfectly by the book. But sometimes the book is wrong. I just listened to what the engine was telling me and adjusted. The crew stared. A 12% efficiency increase was significant. Ships were designed by the finest minds in the galaxy, tested for years. And this human, with primitive tools and no formal training in their technology, had improved it in under 20 minutes. Remarkable, Dexthor whispered. Tell me, Engineer Webb. If you could survive 4 months in impossible conditions, and improve our technology in minutes, what else can humans do? Marcus's grin widened. Captain, you have no idea. We've only been in space for 100 years. We're just getting started. Give us time and we'll show the galaxy what humans can really do. Dexthor looked at this battered, tired human, who had refused to die, who had turned wreckage into survival, who had fixed the unfixable. And for the first time in his long career, he felt something he'd never associated with humans before, respect. I believe you, he said quietly. I believe you will. As the Harmony's voice set course for human space, Dexthor made a note in his log, recommendation to Council, upgrade human classification. They are not primitive. They are persistent. And that may be the most dangerous trait in the galaxy. The breakthrough. The Council meeting. 6 months after rescuing Marcus Webb, Captain Dexthor found himself standing before the Galactic Council, the governing body of 247 civilized species. The Grand Chamber buzzed with multiple languages, translated instantly by neural implants. You wish to upgrade humanity's classification? High Chancellor Morikatha's voice dripped with skepticism. A species that still uses combustion engines? That fights wars over resources? Captain, your sentimentality is noted, but... With respect, Chancellor, I'm not being sentimental. Dexthor projected the hologram of Marcus Webb's destroyed ship. I'm being practical. This human survived 4 months in conditions that would kill any species represented in this chamber. Not through technology. Through sheer determination and ingenuity. The council chamber erupted in multilingual chatter. A Corinthian delegate, her crystalline form glowing with disdain, spoke up. Survival instinct is common. We all have it. Do we? Dexthor challenged. When was the last time a Corinthian rebuilt a power generator from 3 incompatible systems? Or created radiation shielding from cargo containers? This human didn't just survive, he innovated under pressure. And then, he improved our technology. He showed the thruster readings. The chamber fell silent. The demonstration. You're claiming, a Valaxian scientist said slowly, that a human engineer, with no training in our technology, improved a system designed by our finest minds? I'm not claiming it. I'm proving it. Vexthor gestured, and Marcus Webb entered the chamber. The reaction was immediate. Delegates recoiled. Humans were rarely seen in council chambers, they were considered too unpredictable. Marcus, wearing a clean jumpsuit and carrying his battered toolbox, seemed unbothered by the attention. Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed beings of all other classifications, Marcus said with a slight smile, I understand you don't think much of humans. That's fair. We're young, we're messy, and we break a lot of things. But we're also really, really good at fixing them. Chancellor Moraketha's translator conveyed her amusement. You wish to prove human worth? Very well. We have a challenge that has stumped our greatest minds for 3 years. She projected a hologram of a massive space station. The Nexus Array, our most important research facility. 3 years ago, a critical system failed. We cannot determine the cause. 67 different species experts have examined it. All failed. The station produces 40% of our advanced medicine. Without it, millions die annually. Marcus studied the hologram, his engineer's mind already working. What are the symptoms? Power fluctuations in sectors 7 through 12. Random. Unpredictable. No pattern. Marcus scratched his chin. Captain Vexthor, could I see the actual station? Holograms are fine, but I need to listen to it. Listen? The Valaxian scientist laughed. It's a space station, not a symphony. Everything makes noise, Marcus said simply. You just have to know how to listen. The solution. 24 hours later, Marcus stood in the Nexus Array's main engineering bay, surrounded by the galaxy's finest scientific minds. They watched skeptically as he pressed his ear against various panels, tapped conduits, and traced power lines with his fingers. This is absurd, one scientist muttered. He's using primitive sensory methods. Quiet, Vexthor snapped. Let him work. Marcus moved through the station like a doctor examining a patient. He spent hours in sectors 7 through 12, occasionally pulling out simple tools from his toolbox, a wrench, a voltage meter, even a stethoscope. Finally, he stopped at a junction box in Sector 9. Found it. Impossible, the lead engineer said. That junction was inspected 17 times. Yeah, but did anyone listen to it? Marcus opened the panel. Inside, the connections looked perfect. Your inspectors checked if everything was connected right. It is. But they didn't ask if it was connected optimally. He pointed to a series of connections. See these? They're creating a harmonic resonance. Individually, each connection is perfect. Together, they create a feedback loop every few hours when power demand hits a specific threshold. It's not a failure, it's an interaction. The engineer stared. One by one, they checked his work. Their expressions changed from skepticism to shock. He's correct, the Valaxian scientist whispered. How did we miss this? Because you were looking for a problem, Marcus said gently. Sometimes the problem is that everything is working exactly as designed, but the design doesn't account for how the parts interact. Happens all the time. He spent the next 3 hours rewiring connections, moving certain power lines, and adding small buffer circuits from spare parts. When he finished, the power fluctuation stopped. Complete silence filled the chamber. The revelation. 3 years, Chancellor Moraketh said quietly. 67 experts. And a human solved it in 1 day. With respect, Chancellor, Marcus said, those experts are brilliant. They know your technology inside and out. But sometimes that's the problem. They know what's supposed to work, so they don't question it. Humans, we're used to things not working. So we approach everything assuming it might be broken, even when it looks fine. Dexthor stepped forward. This is what I tried to explain. Humans don't have superior technology. They have superior adaptability. They see problems differently because they've spent their entire history solving impossible problems with inadequate tools. A Tyrellian delegate, silent until now, spoke. If humans can do this with our technology after mere hours of study, what could they achieve given time? Resources? Partnership? Marcus smiled. Well, we've got a few ideas. We're working on a new propulsion system back home. Shouldn't work according to current physics, but we're making progress. And there's a medical technique we're developing, uses our immune system responses in ways nobody's tried. Plus, we've got this concept for. Enough, the Chancellor interrupted, but her tone was thoughtful, not dismissive. Captain Vexthor, your recommendation? Upgrade humanity to level 2 civilization status. Immediate. And open formal diplomatic channels. The galaxy needs what humans have, not their technology, but their perspective. The vote was called. To everyone's surprise, it passed unanimously. The new beginning. As Marcus prepared to return to Earth, Dexthor found him in the observation deck, staring at the stars. Your people will be famous now, the captain said. The species that sees problems differently. Marcus chuckled. We've been doing it for millennia. Nice that someone finally noticed. He turned to Vexthor. Can I tell you something, Captain? When my ship broke down, I had two choices, give up or adapt. Giving up is easy. It's peaceful. But humans, we don't do easy. We do possible. And if something's impossible, we try anyway. Why? Dexthor asked. Why try when failure seems certain? Because sometimes, Marcus said softly, the impossible is just the hard thing nobody's figured out yet. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to figure it out. That's worth trying for. Dexthor looked at this human, this stubborn, brilliant, impossible human, and understood. Humanity's strength wasn't their technology or their physical capabilities. It was their absolute refusal to accept that something couldn't be done. Your species will change the galaxy, he said. Marcus grinned. Captain, we're going to try. And for humans? Trying is usually enough. As Marcus's shuttle departed for Earth, Dexthor made a final log entry. Initial assessment was incorrect. Humans are not dangerous because they're unpredictable. They're dangerous because they're unstoppable. They don't accept limitations. They don't accept failure. They simply keep trying until they succeed. The galaxy has spent millennia accepting what is possible. Humans are about to show us what's beyond possible. And I, for one, cannot wait to see it. In the grand scheme of the galaxy, humanity was still young. But as Marcus Webb proved, being young didn't mean being weak. Sometimes it meant being bold enough to try what everyone else had given up on. And in a galaxy of species who had forgotten how to dream the impossible, that might be humanity's greatest gift.